Hey everyone, it's Dina, and this is Badass Pub. We might or might not be joined by Gina Whitney. She's had a Luca, aka dog, emergency, and this is the same dog that jumped off a second-story balcony. So I'm really not sure if she's going to be back or not. But anyway, it's me and Tiffany Fox.
Hello.
And we are going to talk about a few things to do with publishing. First and foremost is going to be book releases. And what's some good numbers to look for a newbie book release versus download numbers for an established author's book release. And we're also going to talk about... what else are we going to talk about? We talked about it earlier.
Agents.
Agents, that's right. And literary agents. Oh, fuck. Okay. So anyway, book releases are really on my mind at the moment because one of the badass authors, Tara Vassar, just did a release for her new book, Irresistible. And she marked the price down. Her regular price is $2.99 for the book. She marked it down for the sake of the release for 99 cents, and she kept it there for 4 days, I think it is what it actually came out to. And she did pretty good. She didn't hit.
We pre-sold it
and did pre-sales.
And we got as
low. But one thing that needs to be said is she did pre-sales, but she did not have the CreateSpace file up in the allotted time frame. So people who did reviews had to wait until after the ebook was up and live. Now you can, if you have your print book available, even 3 months before your book, your ebook is available, three months before your actual book release, you can start getting reviews as soon as you have your print file available through CreateSpace. And I think that's one thing that kind of gets lost in all the noise, is that people don't know, if you have your print book available on CreateSpace for pre-order, you can be getting reviews the entire time that your print file,
Do those reviews translate over to the ebook file?
It translates over to your Amazon page for that particular book. Now, there's a lot of people that they don't go in and link the ebook and the print book, so each are showing up on two different ASIN numbers, which I'm not really sure I understand how that's happening.
Huh.
But they should be it might not be showing up linked the first couple of days, but then after that it should be. I mean, because Amazon's pretty much on their game. They're quick enough to fucking delete a review.
Right.
So they should be quick enough to link the files. Let's go last one. So I think that needs to be said. And I think, honestly, for a debut author with a really minimal social media following, no word of mouth really prior to a month before the book releasing, what do you think are some really good download numbers for that particular author?
For Tara?
Well, no, for any author in Tara's position with minimal social media footprint, minimal social media interaction before the release.
Honestly, if you're a brand new author who either has not reached out to other authors or has not been super interactive with their page because, you know, they're new. Nobody knows about them. So I think that for a brand new author, 30 downloads in the first couple of days of your book is awesome because you've managed to, I mean, you may have reached hundreds of people, but you found 30 people who are interested in your work and, you know, they committed to buying the book. And yes, we did run a giveaway. We ran a Kindle Fire giveaway. The winner was announced last night live on Tara's page. But people who bought the book didn't just buy the book to enter the giveaway. You know, you didn't have to buy the book to enter the giveaway. You literally had to comment on a post. 1,500 or 20, I believe we had over 2,700 people reached on her post. And she has less than 400 likes. I mean, to me, that's pretty damn awesome. It was boosted minimally. So it was boosted and hit the right people to get those shares in and get those comments in. But as for the sales, I mean, she sold what, 100 books in 4 days?
I think that's
is
yeah.
That what
Yeah,
when that was right around the last
her
numbers?
her actual download numbers. But I think the last we had heard 3 days out was 100 books.
Which I think is awesome. Especially for a debut author who, you know, was asking people to take a chance on her. I've seen debut authors ready to hang up their hats because they sold 10 books in a week. Well, you know, maybe they didn't make the right connections or maybe they didn't hit the right people. And, you know, that happens. And we had a good team working with Tara. I mean, with all of us and with PR and everything, and the bloggers were amazing. Everybody who posted for us, thank you, because that really means a lot. I was looking at the blog views and, you know, my blog sends out an email every day between 3 and 5 p.m. of the daily posts. And that particular blog post, I believe, got 74 views in the first day.
That's pretty decent. I mean,
that's decent when I don't have a ton of followers on my blog. I mean, I do. I've got like 170 on Networked, and that's where they go. So I mean, out of 170, we converted 170 of those into 74 views.
Well, and you know, for Jess's book or for Tara's book, we did a I sent it out. I've got a badass reader list,
right?
And it was about 1,600 people. Now, I would have been happier with more opens, but because out of 1,600 people, I think 500 opened it in the first 3 days. And you know, I know a lot of
that's like what, a 30% conversion rate?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not that bad. I mean, especially if it's coming from MailChimp, because a lot of MailChimp goes into promotions tabs.
Well, yeah, it goes in the promotions tab, which, you know, I get that because a lot of people don't realize you can take it and open it in the promotions tab and then move it into your inbox and then all of your subsequent emails. And a lot of people don't.
I figured out how to do that the other day.
You know, they don't know it because they're just readers. Not that there's anything wrong with just being a reader, because you know, I think people that don't know all the background involved, they're probably better off in a lot of ways.
Right.
But I would have liked a larger opening of 1,600 emails. I would have liked about 800 email. You know, I would have liked a 50% open rate.
Right.
And I don't think there was anything wrong with the subject line. I think it was as attention grabbing as a subject line could be.
Right.
And it was just specifically about her book. You know, it's not that it was, you know, like a BookBub email that has 15, 20 other books. So I don't know. We'll continue to work on getting more subscribers to that list, more engaged subscribers, I should say, not just
Right.
subscribers that sign up for the entry.
Right.
But all in all, I don't think that number of opens was that bad. I mean, especially because I believe my subject line, I'm trying to think, did the subject line actually list what the book was titled, or if it listed, like a generic, hey, it's a 99-cent book. Let me double check.
Just to say, I'm looking right now.
I was going to say, yeah, you can sign in just as easy as I can. It had all right, here you go. It had a 30.3% open rate.
Hey, my math is good.
And then it linked, because I'm so leery. I don't. Tiffany and I were talking about this earlier. I don't even make the threshold amount on my affiliate account, but I don't want to risk losing my affiliate account just in case, So I don't, in any of the emails I list, I don't list the thing, the direct download. I list the link to the Badass page that has all of the download links, iTunes, Amazon, Kobo, wherever the book is actually uploaded, because I don't want to focus just on Amazon. Yeah, Amazon's where I believe the numbers for this past year came out. 75% of book downloads, digital book downloads, are through Amazon.
Right.
And someone in our bitches group posted a complete breakdown that the data guy did of what the KU numbers were, what I mean for the romance genre, and that was kind of enlightening. And we'll probably discuss that on another show, and I won't go into any of the actual particulars right now. But anything you can do to get your book in front of any, I mean, especially if it's a reader who's not ever heard of you before, is good. And you've got Twitter that's going to get your name out there. You've got Instagram, you got Facebook, but it's a matter of getting the right people to give the right information at the right time.
Right.
How many times this information is getting out, which is like the big issue with social media, because there's so many different ways. And when do you hit that point where you're doing good and you're just irritating the shit out of people?
Right.
So
I'm looking real quick. I'm checking her rankings right now. Honestly, when the book first launched, day 2, we had her down to number 147 in categories. Was it day 2 or day 3?
It was the end of day 1, first of day 2.
Okay. We were down in number 147 in categories, and I believe like 9,000 overall, which is, I mean, to me is awesome for a debut.
It's amazing.
A debut, period. I mean, an author that no one's heard about, a book that no one knew was coming. And we had sent out stuff for ARCs, and we've been publicizing it. It's not, can't say they didn't know it was coming. But to the masses who read that genre, because I believe it was 147 in vampires. To me, that was a success. Right now she's still sitting at number 618 in vampires and Kindle Store, and she's still number 38,000 overall. And
yeah,
that's
for it being a debut author without a huge following.
That's 6 days into release.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. Now, versus a established author, Quite honestly, those are better numbers than some established authors that I've seen publish. Quite honestly, I mean, I've seen some of the new releases here lately for established authors that can't get over that 10,000 mark overall. And they're fighting like hell to move past that 10,000 mark. But the market is so saturated that 10,000, I mean, even if you look at it this way, if you look at the big picture, you're number 10,000 out of over 6 million.
Yeah. And that's what I think a lot of people are losing sight of, that there are so many books already, especially on Amazon. There's so many books already available. Okay, so say there's, hold on a second. I'm going to go and I'm going to, and I can't, for my book, my nonfiction book.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Evidently, I cannot type. No, seriously, I really can't. Bleed all this shit out too. Okay, my book, which my book hit bestseller like on 3 or 4 bestseller lists on Amazon. Right now, and granted, I published my book January of, holy shit, 2014. Right? So nonfiction it's this is crazy for me. Nonfiction overall, I'm 1,278,388 overall.
Okay.
And I'm 477 in reference for crafts and hobbies. I'm 1640 overall in another craft and hobbies reference.
Is one books and one Kindle books?
Yeah.
There you go.
And which is funny because I don't have a print version available. You know what I mean? And then 1718 in Kindle store, writing, research, and publishing guides in publishing and books. And keep in mind, I have done 0 promotion in probably 18 months.
Nice.
On this title. And that ranking right there probably translates to 1 book sold in the last 6 months. I haven't looked. I don't even pay attention to my sales numbers.
Right.
But yeah, it did hit number 1 in 3 categories.
Nice.
When it was released. And but a lot of it depends on what categories you put your books into. And you know what? My nonfiction, I didn't want to turn around and put it in a fiction category.
Well, you shouldn't.
And if you put your book in a category that it really shouldn't be in, if you've got a shapeshifter book and you try to put it in, animals,
right,
you're probably not going to get the best results. You might get a high ranking, but you might get a lot of people that get pissed off because they got that book.
Well, yeah, I mean, your results are skewed.
Truth in advertising, people.
Right, and it skews your results. I mean, you can be happy about it, but it's a false advertisement as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, false positive really is what it is, because you're going to have some kind of backlash. Because right. You know what? People get fucking so bent out of shape and are so vocal about getting bent out of shape that I guarantee you, trying to game the system by what categories you put it in is going to come back and bite you on the ass sooner or later.
Right.
I mean, because no one is willing. to accept an honest mistake, and no one is willing to give you the benefit of the doubt
Right.
because we're all assholes.
Of course we are.
Yeah, some are bigger assholes than others.
Right.
I do want to say something right quick, and I'm probably going to pull this out for a just a little ad. So shut up, Tiffany. This you gotta get this Power Sniper. This is actually about the first ever live action shooter incident that happened, and it happened in Texas because you know what? Everything's bigger and badder in Texas. This, and it actually releases July 26th. The release party is in Austin. I will be there with one wig or another, or maybe not, and with the Silver Fox, or maybe not. Okay, now we can move on. I told him I would fucking promote the fuck out of that book. I just haven't done shit yet. So, I mean, you know, it's a lot of it is where you, there's so many advertising options available. There's blog tours. There's, you know, suckering your friends into posting shit. And when I released my book, now granted, I understand my book is nonfiction. Okay, so that right there tells me I'm going to have a niche audience.
Right.
You know, a reader doesn't necessarily need, you know, to read my book. An author or an aspiring author will. So a lot of the blogs are like, no, I'm not going to show your book. I'm not going to run your book. But, you know, I've got a lot of friends that are in publishing that are authors, and they're like, hey, are you willing to, are you wanting to put your book here? Read this. So, you know, those bitches really helped. And I absolutely love and adore my bitches.
Yay.
All of them, stateside and foreign. Helly, this is for you.
Who?
Helly.
Oh.
Helly is fabulous. And
I haven't seen Helly lately.
she's been low profile. She popped up. I saw her the other day. She's so sweet. I love her. I really do. She is super, super sweet. She's super fantastic. She's amazingly supportive of the authors that she's friends with.
Right.
I think it's highly likely that she gets taken advantage of.
I can see that.
Because she's so incredibly sweet. But, you know, I think a lot of people in the business get taken advantage of and take advantage.
Right.
You know, it's not only the it's not only the so-called professionals that are taking advantage. There's a lot of instances where authors will take advantage.
Right.
And they might not know that they're taking advantage. So I'm not going to necessarily call anyone out. I do get a lot. My other persona, ebook builders, gets a lot of requests, or gets a lot of spam, really is what I'm going to say, to, hey, my book, my publishing company, and da 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 da. And I'm like, why are you sending me this information? Because one, I don't know you. So this is like spam as far as I'm concerned. Two, you haven't said what you want. Three, you haven't named a compensation for me doing what you want. So four, fuck off.
Well, you know, and I'll tell you right now, what's more frustrating than anything is I can understand that, you know, email addresses float around on other mailings and stuff like that. But if you're going to swipe an email address from someone, at least make an initial contact with that person at that email address. You know, don't just take the mailing list and run with it. Like, contact them and say, hey, you know what? I came across your email address. You know, I understand that you're a blogger, you're a reader, you're an author, whatever you are. You know, would you be interested in helping me do A, B, and C? That right there is the proper way to do it, because I will tell you right now, you know, Beyond Deaf, we are not a blog.
Right.
And, you know, some authors and bloggers have gotten a hold of that email address, and I get all sorts of, I mean, all day long I'm replying, please don't send me blog posts to this email address, because we're not a blog. This is a business. And all you're doing is filling up my inbox.
One, you're filling up my inbox. Two, you're pissing me off. Three, you're putting yourself on a blacklist.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, and then, yeah, you know, I think everyone, and they don't want to admit it, everyone takes their Google Mail address book or their Outlook address book or their Thunderbird address book and takes it and migrates it into their mailing list, right? I think everyone does that.
Well, and you know what? And the thing is, that's great, because, I mean, those are contacts that you have, and those are potential people who can help you promote your book. But you have to make that initial comment or that initial contact. You can't just say, hey, guess what? I'm releasing a book on Friday. Here's my HTML. Post it. No, it doesn't work that way. It's, hey, you know, I'm so-and-so. Would you be interested in posting my blog post for me? Sure. I have no problem with that, but send it to the right email address and do it the right way. If I've never talked to you and you've never even given me so much as a fuck off, don't talk to me.
Well, and a lot of it is, you know what? If you ever ask someone for help, and I've said this repeatedly, and you know what? If you're ever in a bind financially and you ask your creditor, I need help, instead of, you know what? This is your problem. This is your problem, not my problem. This is your problem. And unless you work with me, you're not getting any fucking money from me.
Right. It doesn't flow.
You know, if you ask for help, you're going to get more help.
Right.
Than demanding help.
Exactly.
So, you know, my granny used to say, you catch more flies with honey
than you do
vinegar. And I used to tell my granny, yeah, but I kill more with a shotgun. You know, but that's two entirely different scenarios. Do I want to catch him or do I want to kill him? Now, for me personally, I think all bugs should be killed, and I have a really big shoe to do that. But yeah, I mean, you know my point. You know, I'm just being a smart ass, which I like being a smart ass. And if you don't like me being a smart ass, well then suck it.
Right.
Because I'm giving it to you free.
There you go.
You're not paying extra for my smart assery. Although there are some cultures, there are some in the world who will pay for my demeaning behavior. And they will pay $400 an hour for my demeaning behavior. Fuck, Tiffany, don't let me go off the fucking rails.
That was good.
That was good.
That one go.
I know. So, I don't know. I think, you know, the new thing is now to hack the Instagram algorithm. And you do that by going to Kylie Jenner, because everyone wants to support this little fucking teenage
attention whore,
call girl in training. But you go on and you comment on one of her posts and you do FB or LB. No, wait, it's not FB, it's CB. Sorry, CB or LB, and that stands for comment back or like back. And then now if you do, or you can write first, and first means just like the first image on my Instagram account or on the person's Instagram account.
Okay.
Now, how this is hacking is it is getting a whole bunch of little teeny boppers to go and like or comment on your image. And so it's moving that image just a little bit higher up in the algorithm that Instagram uses. So who else is going to see it other than your followers? You know, are you getting 700 likes of an image? So then it's moving it higher. So it's showing up higher in like the hashtag search results.
Nice.
So that's a little something to think about. I've tried it for 2 days. Now, of course, you have to go and you have to reciprocate. People who like your post or your photo or comment, you have to like or comment back to whoever does it. Really and truly, in terms of Badass Book Society, I'm not noticing a whole lot of initial return on investment. Even after, you know, going through and liking 30 pictures, I don't think I'm getting 30 likes. Because, you know, teenagers are notoriously...
I love how you do your experiments.
Well, I'm just doing it. They're saying do this, so I'm doing it. I did it for 2 days. What the fuck? It's not like I'm fucking bleeding all over the damn floor to do this experiment.
Right.
You know, it's costing me 5 hours.
You spent 5 hours going through her photos.
Oh, not all in one day, but that's like 2 hours of liking the shit, and then 2 hours re-liking whoever fucking gives me a like.
Oh, I see.
Or making the image, you know, I mean, 5 hours total, and that was 2 days. That was 2 separate images, and so, you know, just, and so like I tried like a YA book, and then I tried like a smutty book,
Right.
you know, and just now, I don't know, you know, Kylie Jenner's followers probably, unless they have an addiction to lip injections and eyeliner, they probably don't give a shit about books. I would be surprised if they can read. Now that was really catty of me, but are you going to disagree? Are you going to disagree?
No.
Yeah, right.
Need to take like a 2-second break.
All right, pause.
I gotta take the dog out.
I'm going to pee.
Come on, baby.
What are you looking at?
Edward. Come on, buddy. Come on, Edward. Come on. Come on.
Oh! Hi. You got questions?
back?
Yeah.
All right. Athena was amazing.
Okay, so we got about 25 minutes left to go.
I say we jump over to literary agents.
Okay, literary agents. I don't really know a lot about literary agents other than I would think unless you have a lot of inroads with publishing houses, both big and small and medium. But how do you judge? I mean, I can tell you, yeah, I know publishers. Well, I do. I know self-publishers. I know small presses. I'm involved with a small press. But I don't think that makes me. I don't think that qualifies me to be an agent.
No, the thing is, when it comes to being an agent, you have to think like an acquisitions editor. You have to think like that person who's out there shopping for the book, what the people want, what the readers want. You have to know what the publishers are wanting. You know, I mean, if the publishers are looking for paranormal romance, you have to find that book that's going to fit that genre, and that author that's going to fit that publisher. And the thing with, the thing
Yeah,
with,
keep in mind how many times was Harry Potter passed on?
right?
How many different acquisition editors passed on it?
Well, and the thing is, another thing that you have to remember is a lot of the big publishers, they're not even going to look at your book unless you have an agent. You know, a lot of people say, you know, I queried such and such a publisher. Well, you can query them all you want, but 9 times out of 10, a lot of them aren't even going to look at it unless you have an agent, because they want to see someone who is invested in their work.
Well, see, and I'm the exact opposite. I've got 2 publishers like telling me, I'm going to publish your shit. No, you're not, because I'm not giving you my shit to publish.
Right.
But I'm not saying this because I'm an amazing author. I'm saying this because I know people.
Right. And, you know, and a lot of times it is.
And that's unfair. I'm going to tell you, that's unfair because I know a lot of amazing authors who should, or no, honestly, they could, or they should have big 6,
Right.
or even small press contracts.
Well, you know, and I've seen,
Don't, either because they won't submit or because they don't want to submit.
well, and not even that. Like, I know of, you know, a few self-published authors who have gone on to the big 6 that probably shouldn't be there. And I'm not trying to be catty and I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm just saying you got there because your BFF, USA Today, New York Times bestselling author friend contacted their editor and said, here, publish my friend. And I've seen some very poorly written, traditionally published books. I've seen some very amazingly written self-published books.
Right. Absolutely. And you know what? And by the same token, I've seen some traditionally published books by big names that it looks like it was the first draft that was actually published.
Absolutely. I have too.
And you know, that's not knocking anyone, because I got a first draft sitting right now.
Really?
You know, and everyone's like, oh, please tell me you're going to edit it before. I'm not editing shit. I'm paying someone else to edit. You know, I know my shortcomings. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. I write like I talk. There's a lot of fucking ums and fucks in my book.
Right.
And not the good fucks either. Just random fucks. And I'm okay with that. but now not everyone is okay with it.
Right.
And, I understand that. Wait, this is a lot of the reason that I'm not gonna go with any of the offers I've been given, because one, I've been so pro do it yourself, do it yourself, do it yourself.
Right. I was gonna say you're a huge proponent of self-publishing.
I'm fuck, don't sign away your rights. Okay? And um me being me and knowing who I know because of my background and because of who who fucking shot me out of her uterus, and who thinks I'm beautiful and sexy. I've been given like a lot of fucking opportunities that someone who is a better author, a better storyteller, wasn't given. And I think because of nepotism, I don't want to get something because of nepotism.
Right.
So, yeah, my first book I will publish completely on my own, and Tiffany and Badass will do probably 50 to 75% of the initial shit. But, I'm still going to try to talk the person who shot me out of her uterus into like helping me out. And, the people who want to like touch my breast, I'm going to see if they will help me out.
You're so eloquent, Dina.
And you know what? Because I think you should play upon your strengths.
Right.
I used to have some really sexy legs. I showed them off as much as possible. I got a lot of shit.
If you got it, flaunt it, right?
They're not quite as sexy as they used to be, but they'll still give me something.
You're funny.
So,
okay, so I think like what we were talking about earlier was how do if anybody's watching this, we'd love some feedback, honestly. How
we got 7 people watching right now. I would love. I've said, ask me questions. Anyone have questions?
Right. I would like to know, because the research that I've done is, how do you become a literary agent? How do you build your contacts? How do you do this? How do you do that? There's all those answers, but there's nothing that I could really find out there that was very indicative as to the pay for a literary agent. Is it worth it for someone to drop everything that they're doing and make those contacts and try to, learn the ropes of that part of the industry? There's nothing out there that tells me that I should quit what I'm doing and do that. There's nothing out there that tells me that I should do it part-time. Some people say to me, so many authors, maybe you should do that. I mean, I've got some contacts at publishing houses, yes, but do I have the right contacts? I don't know, because I can't find what I need to find on the job.
Right.
So, and authors, there are some authors who have agents that swear by them. And there are some authors who have managed to get their contracts without agents. So, I mean, I really think that it is going to be a concept or an idea of personal preference and what works for you. I mean, if you work well with others and you're okay with handing over the reins and giving it to someone else and letting them be in charge of it, that's one thing. But if you're not, then maybe you do need to do it on your own. And I'm not saying that out there to make these agents lose their money or whatever. I'm just saying some people, it is a personal preference. Some people don't work well with others. They maybe tried the agent thing and didn't like it. See? Exactly.
But you know what? I don't know, because I would like
But I also believe that if you have a good literary agent who knows what they're doing, who has all the proper contacts, they're going to make your life 10 times easier. Because basically you're going to send them your query letter and their job is to go pitch it to the publishers. That takes so much off of the author.
Well, you know what I want taken off of my shoulders is, and Tiffany and I have talked about this just from me doing my book. Okay, look, I fucking wrote my first draft. Wham, there it is. Now I've gotten feedback on you need to do this, and have you thought about doing this? You know, let's do this. And I become physically ill. I mean, I freeze up. I look at it and I'm like, no. You know, I start second guessing every fucking word that I've written. So I would like to write it and then submit it, and y'all fix it, and then we publish it.
Right.
I don't want to see what you do. I'll read it, and then I will go on and use that story to finish the rest of, you know, my next book. But, you know, I mean, it's just, you know, it's kind of a freaky deal. And Tiffany, I don't know where the fuck you are, but it's kind of a freaky deal. You're not visually here.
Oh, all right, just a second.
But you know, it's kind of a freaky deal. I'm a control freak, so I can't take what I've written and make any changes to it, even though I know it needs changes. But I can let someone come in and take what I've written and polish it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
But I can't polish it myself. And I think it's because I have such a connection with this story. And, but, you know, I mean, everyone who knows me, even slightly, knows I got some control issues.
No, not Dina.
But, you know, by the same token, then you turn around and you have someone with control issues say, I want you to fix this. And so I know that these people are, I know that you, Tiffany, are going, oh my God, I'm going to end up fucking fighting with this fucking bitch every fucking time I turn around.
What, with
But
you?
no, I'm asking.
I don't think I'm going to be fighting with you at all.
Because, well, you're a Gemini, so you fucking get it, right? So, but like most people who aren't a Gemini, when I say I want you to fix it, they're thinking, holy fuck, this is going to be a nightmare because this woman is such an incredible fucking control freak. No, it's completely different when I ask you to fix it versus, I don't know. It's a completely different mindset for me. So, but we're going to start winding it down because I think we've gone over, and I don't remember how long we took for a piss break in the middle of the show.
How many are watching us right now?
Well, then that's why I can't see you.
You can't see me?
No, I just see your fucking weave through the damn mirror. So anyway.
That's weird because like my thing is telling me to turn my camera off, and if it was off, it would say turn it on, and my camera light is on.
Yeah, well, I was having that issue earlier, but I had another video on the other side.
Oh, I don't have a video on, no.
So, but all right, we're gonna wind tonight's show down, but we did enjoy talking about releases and, you know, just barely hitting on agents. I would love to have a fucking agent come on that's not a badass member. Particularly, I know that, you know, 99.9% of the people that show up on any of the badass shows, they're going to be a badass member. But if there is a agent who's not a badass member, please contact me. One, I'll probably give you a fucking membership, and two, I want you on the show because I want to hear what you do, and I want to hear from your fucking spec.
I have a few that we can talk to. Let me see if I can make some contacts because I
Yeah.
think that's great. I think that'd be really good for our listeners.
Yeah, I would love. Well, I actually know one, and she's actually in the bitches.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. She's supposed to be a fucking badass member. I don't know.
Maybe this would be her motivation.
No, really, she's like, well, I thought I was a badass, and I'm like, I don't think you're a badass. I think you might have wanted to be a badass. I think you're a bitch, but I don't know if you're a member. Not that she's a bitch.
It's a term of endearment.
But we have a badass book bitches group, which is what the society grew out of. But we do have men. Anyway, so good night from Texas.
Do we have any questions?
No one's asking anything.
I have someone asking if they should chime in. I said sure
Where?
on my messenger.
They're not showing up over here.
Huh. Okay, never mind. We can go.
Okay. Don't talk about your perversion shit on the air.
Huh?
Don't talk about your pervert shit on the air.
Hey, look, I have a video now.
Look, there you are.
There I am.
So, all right. I'm going to say good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, all folks. Peace out. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Peace out, motherfucker.